a result of massively increased cultural exchange and trade. The key factors that have influenced globalization include, firstly, improvement of transportation, secondly, improvement of communication, thirdly, freedom of trade, lastly, labor availability and skills. Globalization has resulted in increased international a company operating in more than one country, greater dependence on global economy, freer movement of capital, goods, and services, recognition of companies. Companies that operate in more than one country are called multinational corporation or transnational corporation. For example, McDonald's. McDonald's is an American hamburger and fast food restaurant chain, founded in 1940 as a barbecue restaurant, operated by Richard and Maurice McDonald. It is the world's leading food service retailer and the largest chain of fast food in the world. McDonald's is the fourth most valuable brand in the world. The headquarters are located in Oak Brook, Illinois, and United States. It has more than 36,000 local restaurants in 119 countries, serving 64 million people. In 2015, the McDonald's company I'm Loving It is estimated to own around 19% of the fast food market share. A beef supplier, Loafers Foods, which provides McDonald's beef used to make the patties served in restaurants. A meat and fish supplier, Tyson Foods, that provides many ingredients like some of the chicken used for making chicken McNuggets. A fish supplier, Kenny, casts a wide net to bring the best of the sea to McDonald's. A potato farmer, Frank Martin. Potatoes which are used to make the world's famous fries. A potato farmer, Jen, who works for her family to harvest quality potatoes. A potato farmer, 100 Circle Farms, which provide good quality potatoes. An apple farmer, Mike, who provides fresh picked apples that are used for the apple pie sold at McDonald's. A lettuce farmer, Dirk, whose farm offers a variety of lettuce from tender to spicy. A coffee supplier, Gavina Gourmet Coffee, which is expressly made by a master blender before it arrives at McDonald's McCafe beverages. An MADC manager will get $33,000. NIC will get $15,000 and LADC will get $1,500. It increases job opportunities worldwide and provides new skills for local people. It is a quick and cheap service widely accepted by the public. People can experience different languages, cultures, and lifestyles. People can experience food that has not been previously available in their own country. And lastly, it supports a sustainable development. But also, it has negative impacts, just like any other TNC. It causes food shortages. It causes harm to the environment in two ways. First is transportation, the second is agriculture. It causes unhealthy diet. Lastly, it won't guarantee the LADC will gain profit.
First question. When did you ever try McDonald's? When was the first time?
When I was a kid, my dad found me and he
MacDonald book numbers, there are both positive and negative impacts, but the negative impacts outweigh the positive. So in order to improve and reduce it, the government will implement sustainable development. Is it worth it?
In other words, we can't simply return to the strategies of the past. But we're living through an age of fundamental economic transformation. Technology has changed the way we live and the way the world does business. The collapse of the Soviet Union, the advance of capitalism, have vanquished old challenges to America's global leadership. But new challenges have emerged from China and India and Eastern Europe, even countries like Brazil. Jobs and industries can move to any country with an internet connection and willing workers. And Michigan's children will grow up facing competition not just from kids in California or South Carolina, but also from young people in Beijing and Bangalore. You know, a few years ago, I saw a picture of this new reality during a visit to Google's headquarters in California. Towards the end of the tour, I was brought into a room where there was a three-dimensional image of the Earth that rotated on a large flat panel model. And across this image, there were countless lights in different colors all around this globe. And I asked what those lights signified, and the young engineer explained that the lights represented all of the internet searches taking place all around the world. Each color represented a different language. And the image was mesmerizing, a picture of a world where old boundaries are disappearing, a world where communication, connection, and competition can come from anywhere. Now, there are some who believe that we must try to turn back the clock on this new world, that the only chance to maintain our living standard is to build a fortress around America, to stop trading with other countries, to shut down immigration, rely on old industries. I disagree. Not only is it impossible to turn back the tide of globalization, but efforts to do so can actually make us worse off. So rather than fear the future, we have to embrace it. I have no doubt that America can compete and succeed in the 21st century. And I know as well that more than anything else, success will not depend on our government. It will depend on the dynamism and determination and innovation of the American people. We have the best workers on earth here in Flint and here in Michigan. We work harder and we work better. Here in Flint, it was the private sector and American workers that helped turn lumber into the wagons that sent this country west. It was the American worker that built the tanks that faced down fascism and that turned out the automobiles that were the cornerstone of America's manufacturing boom. But at critical moments of transition like this one, success has also depended on national leadership, political leadership, that moved the country forward with confidence and a common purpose. That's what our founding fathers did after winning independence, when they tied together the economies of the 13 states and created the American market. That's what Lincoln did right in the middle of the Civil War. He pushed for a transcontinental railroad. He incorporated our National Academy of Sciences. He passed the Homestead Act. He created our system of land-grant colleges. That's what FDR did in confronting capitalism's gravest crisis, when he forged the social safety net, built the Hoover Dam, created the Tennessee Valley Authority, and invested in an arsenal of democracy. And that's what Kennedy did in the dark days of the Cold War, when he called us to a new frontier created the Apollo program, and put us on a pathway to the moon. This was leadership that had the strength to turn moments of adversity into opportunity. Leadership that had the wisdom to see a little further down the road and around that next corner. Leadership that had the courage to challenge conventional thinking and worn ideas so that we could reinvent our economy to seize the future. And unfortunately, that's not the kind of leadership that we've seen out of Washington recently. But that's the kind of leadership I intend to provide when I am President of the United States of America. These past 8 years will be remembered for misguided policies, missed opportunities, a rigid and ideological adherence to discredited ideas. Almost a decade into this century, we still have no real strategy to compete in a global economy.